Welcome back to our Friday night Icarus Patchnotes discussion. I'm here with Karel, so I'm gonna switch over back to Discord. Hey Karel, how you doing?
I'm doing good, and you?
Not bad, not bad. It's Friday, so
Good.
Patchnotes and then Icarus gameplay again. Always nice.
Well, indeed, or at least first the patch notes for it, right? So good to
Exactly. So we are at week 151. We're gonna get a new building type called Beeswax wood. So the reinforced wood, which we had for a long time already, that one is gonna get out, and beeswax wood is coming in its place. Now this week features the new beeswax wood, replacing the reinforced wood tier. And we've also added static boss health bars. So welcome to week 151. This week we're giving the reinforced wood a makeover and a new name. It's gonna be called beeswax wood now. This will have the same stats as the reinforced wood, but a new look and design. Now the old reinforced wood had the same mesh as normal wood, so the only way to see whether it is normal wood or beeswax wood, or reinforced wood, was to look at the durability. Reinforced wood is slightly higher storm resistance and a little bit more durability than the normal wood, but you never could tell them apart. Now with the beeswax wood, at least you will get a new look and design. So visually different. And we've also added static boss health bars. Something we discussed a while back and was important in preparation for some exciting upcoming content. So basically the health bar on the top of the screen like you see with other games.
Yep.
Gonna be for bosses, so gonna be the named bosses, maybe the crazy creatures from the simple missions, I'm not sure. I definitely expect, for example, Scorpion King to have a static health bar at the top of the screen. So let's jump in and have a read. A couple of notable improvements. Fix a timeout issue when hosting prospects if the loading took over 60 seconds. So if you try to load into a prospect, if it takes over 60 seconds, your game client is going to be like, sorry, takes so long. Apparently there's some network issue. Error 61 or 63. And I'm going to try to reconnect. Uh, Tied into this, we fixed an issue that was causing long loading times due to array copying. This was causing unnaturally long load times when hosting or joining games. And also removed the 180-second session timeout that sends players back to the main menu if it took too long to load. You could actually see this on host or on single player. I've seen this myself as well. Once you start null sector mission, I've seen someone stating it was specifically the second null sector mission. I'm not sure if that's indeed the second or whether it starts already with the first null sector mission. The loading time of your prospects goes through the roof, and then you get all the times and timeouts and such. Very annoying. I've seen like one report from someone who said he had the same on Olympus open world. But I haven't played Olympus for quite a while yet, so I have not noticed it there. I haven't tried it out. But yeah, definitely I've seen this issue on Prometheus, and it was very annoying. To the point that at some point I had drank like a little, it was in the null sector, I drank a little bit before logging out. Logging back in took so long I almost died of thirst. So
Wow, that's
I'm
pretty
very
bad.
glad
So
I
how long
fixed
did you
that.
wait, basically?
2-3 minutes loading
Wow.
time of the prospect. Hey, Mr.
Pretty
Muffman,
bad, yeah.
you started indeed. Yeah, 10 minutes ago I was looking for you for a raid. Yeah, sorry man. Friday night, 21:30 British Summer Time, we start our Patchnotes discussion. Usually I don't do gameplay before that. Thanks for the intent though. But yeah, the long loading times of the prospects should now be fixed. I've seen people who played on experimental brands who said, hey, it's flying now, so I am hopeful. But I'll obviously check it out with my subsequent gameplay. Fix also a bug where the shield would block poison and miasmic damage. I've kind of seen this happen with poison. If As in, if you had a shield on your back and you got poisoned by a cave worm, it actually took away your stamina. That issue has been fixed for a couple of weeks now. But it was indeed like blocking, between quotes, poison damage, and instead took away your stamina. I had not noticed this for miasma damage though. Apparently it also blocked miasma damage. It's now no longer doing this. Shield is now specifically only blocking melee and projectile damage. Which makes me wonder, did it also block fire damage? I'm not sure.
Mm. Not sure, but I haven't used the shield much in my opinion, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah, I tend to run around with a shield on my back, just because it looks cool. Not that I see it much, only if I'm on my mount, because I usually play from first person mode. And if you get attacked from behind, at least the shield is taking away some of the damage, blocking some of the damage.
Mm.
Anyway, this week we get the Beeswax wood. The old reinforced wood has received a makeover. Going forward, it will now be known as Beeswax wood, with a new texture and shades that make it visually distinct from regular wood. Like I said, the old reinforced wood looked exactly the same as the regular wood. At least the beeswax wood is gonna look different, and I'm very happy about that. Now, we have previously done this with reinforced glass, and we wanted to do the same for some of our other tiered building sets. Cool. Now, this should also help you find it in the tech tree and recipe list, making it stand out from its wood counterparts. Because if it looks the same, has the same icon, yeah, which of the two do I need? At least there's a differentiation there now as well, visually different. Now, any existing reinforced wood buildings with the reinforced alteration will still exist in a prospect, but you will no longer be able to craft new pieces. Basically the same as with reinforced glass.
Mm.
The reinforced glass which was built already or crafted already is still there. However, you cannot make it anymore. You will not need to unlock any new blueprints to craft the beeswax wood, because they will use the same blueprint unlocks as before, as the reinforced wood. In the blueprints, the tree it has just been renamed to Beeswax wood. Building piece-wise, it's its own set. So they didn't just change the mesh. No, they made a complete new set.
Okay.
Hence, the old ones are still reinforced wood. But since they're not in the blueprints anymore, you can no longer build them. So also this week, static boss health bars. This week also introduces static boss health bars, something we've discussed in the past. And this was important to introduce before some upcoming content that is in the works. And I can tell you it is gonna be a very nice content. definitely. Now, these bars act like boss health bars in other games, being present at the top of the screen when actively engaging a boss creature. It should help you manage these encounters more efficiently. As you can see in the image below, there's the big health bar at the top. So you don't have to
Yep.
be too close to the enemy no more to see its health bar. You can just straight away see it. And by the looks of it, this is a sandworm that's being fought. So yeah, sandworm. So I reckon also Scorpion King and Alpha Wolf. I reckon because it's that's the third world boss type. So gonna be interesting and easy to test. Just
Yep.
hop into an open world, look for a world boss, go fight it. Now next week we're gonna get a new bench, the tier 3 windmill. Next week we're introducing a new tier 3 windmill that aims to fill the gap between the mortar and pestle at tier 2 and the material processor at tier 4. This will allow for faster and more efficient processing of recipes, faster and more efficient compared to the mortar and pestle, and allow for more suitable option as you level up. Because right now it's the tier 2, you have the mortar and pestle, you have to keep using it until you get to the material processor at tier 4. I mean, it's doable, but yeah, it was missing a tier 3 variant. So we're finally getting
Yeah.
the tier 3 variant now. Now, one thing though, the windmill needs to be placed outside.
Yeah. Can't be in cover. Or
So, like the tier 2 variant, mortar and pestle is inside the base. You can put it on top of
Mhm.
your crafting bench. Material processor, tier 4, inside. You can put it right next to your crafting bench. The tier 3 variant though, the windmill has to be placed outside. So you have to run outside, start the queue, grab the resources back and run back in to actually use it. But if you, I don't know, like hitbox, like the wind turbine, you can't place too close to your base because then it's blocked. I don't know whether or not this tier 3 windmill is going to be the same. If it is not, if you can place it close to your base, you can place it just outside the window and put your crafting bench underneath the window, and then you stand in front of your crafting bench, you reach through the window into the windmill to grab the stuff. If we're lucky.
yeah.
So it needs to be placed outside and it requires wind to generate mechanical energy for processing. Now, we have seen with the wind turbines, there's always wind.
Yep.
Day, night, always. Be it
Well, it's
sunny
always just
weather,
running.
be it storm, whatever. Yeah. So this one should be running 24/7 as well. So, I like the new bench between the mortar and pestle and the material processor. How useful it's gonna be, because having to place it outside is something we'll have to wait and see. It's probably gonna require a bit more running back and forth. Your thoughts?
Um, the windmills themselves, well, obviously, yeah. It's I just don't understand why there's a mix between the two. It's like, oh yeah, so
Well,
because I'm thinking about windmill being the wind turbine, so I
no,
actually
no,
didn't
no,
even
no.
know there was a windmill to begin with. So it's like, oh, okay, fine. So
No, this is gonna
is it
be a
is it?
windmill, not wind turbine. It's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
gonna
yeah,
generate
yeah,
electricity. No,
yeah,
it
yeah.
needs
That
wind
was the
to
thing.
operate,
Sorry
and
about
wind
that. Yeah,
directly
but
to operate this bench.
yeah, I mean, the thing there is that the molten pastel is pretty efficient. You can have multiple, basically, if you have an issue of, parallel processing versus single stream processing. So yeah, even if it's quicker, maybe if it's bigger, if it's all these types of things, it doesn't really matter in my opinion because Molten Pestle square inch efficiency wise is going to beat it by a long mile.
Yep.
So obviously having a higher tier is you would just usually go to the material processor just because everything is there and you could just make what you want and it's pretty efficient and pretty quick. So you don't
Yep.
have to worry about things altogether. So it's a niche which actually sort of pushes it to, for example, Valheim, where it's like, a special tech item that you would need to sort of tech up towards. That would make more sense, but that's not how Icarus works, and therefore I don't think it's going to be effective. But that's a very
Uh,
narrow view from my
yeah.
perspective.
It's kinda slightly how Icarus used to work before they added the predecessor recipes to the higher tier benches.
Yeah. So if, for example, obviously, if there is something between the two which you cannot craft, only like I said, if they put certain items, which is higher tier, which used to be tier 4 locked, but you wouldn't be necessary. That's the thing. It's like everything that's tier 4 locked and produced in tier 4 is used for tier 4 production. So there isn't really any purpose to the tier 3 unless new items or new restrictions or new recipes are adjusted, making it a requirement. Hence, I think it really just depends on how they're going
Well,
to implement it. But based upon the past and
don't
my
forget,
negative,
don't forget this.
it's
This might be helpful for people who have not stepped up to tier 4 yet.
like I said, that is dependent on whether or not they're going to nerf the pestle, making certain items not craftable anymore, and therefore needing you to make it. So if they're not going to do that by keeping people in whatever recipes were in there, because as far as I
True,
know,
true.
currently it's just the pestle and the tier 4. So unless they really screw over, the difficulty, which is not a bad idea, it forces you to make it, it forces you to use it, which is, the only way that they can go about it. But introduce, I mean, like I said, it just depends. So if they're going to make more items more difficult to make, then great, perhaps.
Do you
But it's like,
recall organic resin made out of wood and oxides? Could you make it in a mortar and pestle? Because that's basically a tier 3 is an electric
yeah, you could.
item.
Of course you could. Yeah, you could
So
do. Yeah.
maybe if they move that one to the windmill, like take it out of the mortar and pestle.
Yeah, so that's the point. It's just that if they don't change anything, it's not going to be useful because Morton Pestle, as I said, square inch production-wise, parallel processing, go, 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 stuff them in, a whole bunch of stuff, good storage,
True.
go. It's overpowered to that
Yeah.
extent.
And you
So
can like put
hence,
put a whole row down
yeah.
and have like
So if
parallel processing for speed. Yeah.
realistically, they should nerf the storage of a Morton Pestle. It's not supposed to be as powerful as it is. Because we shove a whole ton of stuff in there. It's a temporary storage. It's a freaking
Yep.
cupboard. It's a freaking, to produce things. It's way too overpowered for what it is. So
Yep.
quite frankly, it's a bloody mortar and pestle. You could put two leaves and a twig in it. That's technically what's supposed to go in it. So yeah,
Ah,
if they wanted to sort of nerf a couple of things, go for it. Because that's the only way you're going to make it usable unless you're like role playing or doing something to that effect. That's my opinion. But if they haven't mentioned anything about adjusting recipes.
well,
And, certain people would see that as, oh no, they're nerfing certain things. People should always get nerf battered, and yeah, certain things are a little bit overpowered.
the mortar and pestle
Um,
indeed. Storage-wise, it's
yeah,
overpowered.
two
Yes.
two sticks and some silicon. What do you need to make? I don't even remember what you need to make the damn thing, but it's pretty easy to make.
Silica and stone.
Yeah, silica. It's done. It's like it's stupidly easy, and then you've got like 20,000 slots worth of storage, and it makes tons of things, and it's ridiculously useful that we put it everywhere. So hence, yeah, it's if they're going to start time
Sidestepping,
balancing things, yeah,
sidestepping on that. I had a little laugh lately. Like I had a bucket with water, 10 liters of water, so decent sized bucket.
mm,
And you have it in your hand, you can see it's like a decent sized bucket full of water. Then I fill this
mm,
tiny little dog or a cat drinking bowl, which holds
yeah,
15 liters.
yeah. That's also true. That's supposed to be more tedious in the regard that also would force you to have like the pipe integrated water system, tubular doohickey, watering system, which is
Uh,
fine.
I
Yet
use
again,
it in
it's
the I use it for the times and for the mounts. But yeah.
I know,
But it
but
was
I'm
fun.
just saying that
You have the
making the
big
game,
bucket, and then you empty it
yeah,
out in this tiny bowl, and the bowl isn't even
yeah,
full yet.
I
But
know,
yeah,
but that's the point. It's just certain
eh,
things, if they made it a bit harder and a bit more tedious, it wouldn't be the end of it. It would make it a little bit more immersive. They were working on the storyline to make it more immersive. Not shoving, think 20,000 things in an infinite pocket is basically not
true,
bad. But then again,
true. But if
that's
they're gonna
going too
nerf
far.
it, there are quite a
That's
few
too far.
people who are gonna
No,
complain about it. I can
no,
tell you
no. They
already.
would need to overhaul. They would need to overhaul the entire system. But
Yeah,
that's my point. It's that Icarus isn't that type of game. So therefore, they'll most likely just adjust a couple of recipes so that you need to take up to that thing, and it's not might not it might even be better. I'm a negative person. You know this. So it might actually be producing quicker. Or yet again, here's my other caveat. The same thing with the damn fire pit, is that you're supposed to have multiple threads. Have two queues of production. Make it worthwhile. Have twice the production. It's going to be a big thing outside. It's going to grind a ton more. So make it two streams or something. Make it
yeah.
go like, quick like.
That would
Like
definitely
really quick.
make the fire pits more viable to
Well,
use.
yeah,
Definitely.
exactly. That was the point about it. It's a massive fire pit. I can see steaks cooking over there and a chicken roasting over here, and it should actually be three cooking queues in my opinion. And it's realistically not that difficult to code for. But if they did that for the big windmill thing, introduce a new tech, sort of shuffle a couple of blueprints around, made it look cool. It makes you feel like you're taking up towards it, so it definitely gives you a sense of progression. That's a great change. But just implementing it now without changing anything else and just expecting people to use it, other than the cool aesthetic of it, I don't see it.
I
It's
think
just the
think
more
I'm gonna
context there is,
build
there's
one
powerful.
just to see how it looks. But
No, of
I'm
course.
definitely gonna
That's what
be
you.
keep using the material processor because
I
it's
mean, it's the same. Yeah.
convenient in my base, in my crafting room, close by everything. So
Yeah, exactly, and that's the other inconvenience about it as well. You would have to sort of run out and back in, unlike you said, unless you, like you said, you put it by the window, weird, close, add it as, making it possible to access the inventory from within the building.
like we did with rain catchers and stuff.
It'll also probably get storm damage as there's a heavy wind, thing, so you're gonna have to end up preparing it
That I do not
unlike a
know.
molten pestle. Well, most likely it's going to be because it's outside, everything outside, including, because it's like, oh, the building is being damaged, but guess what? You don't have to go running around inside your house repairing all the benches
A
because
ranching
they take
station
damage.
is placed outside, does not take damage. A forge is
Oh,
placed
okay.
outside, takes no storm damage.
Oh,
So
yeah.
there
But
are
this is a
benches which have to
windmill.
be placed outside, which do not take storm
Uh,
damage. Wind turbine
yeah,
does
yeah, but
does basically not take any storm damage. It takes overcharging damage.
yeah. But yet again, technicalities aside, is that I could make it cool, but we would have to see on the execution. But
Yeah,
that's enough of the
well that is
discussion
something
on
for
that.
next week to look at.
Yeah, definitely.
So your support makes these updates possible. Eh? If players support a company, they can afford to keep on working on the game, basically. So we have the patch bundle, which includes the creature comforts pack with nice new extra saddles, food and water troughs, and actually I have this creature comfort pack myself, and I'm using the racing saddle from this creature comfort pack on most of my mounts, just for this bit of extra speed. That's, by the way, one of the reasons why my mower is so nice and fast. There's the pet companion pack, which gives you a couple of more variants of dogs and cats. And there's the zebra rescue mission. The only way to get zebras as a mount. I've been talking about these zebras in stream lately a little bit.
Do
Uh,
you have a zebra
yeah.
that's in the open world? Because I don't remember
Not
seeing.
in my solo open world, but in my with my main character, I've gotten some zebras. Yes.
You've gotten some zebras, but I
Ja.
didn't see them at your base though.
Uh, I'd have to see where. It is in Styx open
Hmm.
world. I've been there for ages. You can, by the way, send them back up to space station, and then you can call them down, basically with any character you want. At which
Yep.
point, by the way, the character ownership is being transferred to the character who called it down. That's a change they made a couple of weeks
Mm.
ago. Now you have like the Tusker on sticks. You have the Arctic Moa. Those two are basically Arctic creatures. They don't get they feel fine in the Arctic. They don't get any debuff in the Arctic. They will get a debuff in desert or volcanic. Um, you have like the Tyrannus and the normal Moa and the Buffalo. They are like temperate zone creatures. They get chilly
Oh
in the
no.
Arctic and they get warm in the volcanic and desert. The zebra, since its primary living space is the desert, from what I understood from one of my viewers, the zebra is actually one who likes the hot climate. So he's fine in deserts and temperate and volcanic, but probably gonna take a little bit more severe debuff in the Arctic. But as far as I know, this is the only mount which is fine in hot environment. So if you want one, get yourself the pet bundle. You get this mission where you can rescue up to 5 zebras. And obviously, if you do it in open world, you can only do an operation once from every open world. But if you run it as a mission, you can basically rinse and repeat the mission and just send them all back up to space. You can get a whole herd of zebras in your space station. I wonder how big the space station is, man.
Mm.
Prospect is setting up lots of animals. But okay. And there is the Icarus Complete set, which is a dynamic bundle. Basically everything you don't yet have, including the base game, including the Styx DLC, New Frontiers DLC, the Prometheus map, but also several outposts. It does include the DLCs from the Pets bundle. It includes the DLC for the paintings and the geode lamps, etc. is all in this dynamic bundle. So hey, if you wanna support the devs, go forth and buy some of the DLCs. Changelog is very short, but a couple of interesting things. So they added simple quest rewards containing dirt for use in areas where you cannot get dirt naturally, notably non-forest outposts or volcanic biome. There is no dirt there. Arctic biome. There is no dirt there. Unless you use the cheesy method of bringing one dirt foundation, put it down, and dig endlessly infinite dirt from that one dirt foundation. Actually, a method I've been using a little bit in null sector lately. They also added kiwi fruits to the simple quest rewards. When kiwi fruit was introduced, it stated something about like you can buy it from the workshop or you can find it in the wild. So far I haven't found it in the wild yet. I'm not sure you can. So if you wanted kiwi fruit, you had to buy it from the workshop. Now there is the method of simple quest rewards. So that's good. And also added procurement info for kiwi fruit and sugarcane, advising they're available from simple quests. Sugarcane is another one of them seeds. It does not grow in the wild, so you had to buy one pack from the space station and then put it in crop plots, harvest it, get more seeds, so you can then extend the amount of sugarcane you can grow, but you always had to buy it from the workshop. Looks like sugarcane is also in simple quest rewards. I like that. So doing simple quests, once they fix the infinite dirt from dirt foundations cheesy method, you still have simple quest rewards containing dirt. So it's an incentive to start doing those simple quests from other biomes, i.e. Volcanic biome, Arctic biome. If you wanna use dirt, that is. They've enabled a reskinned version of reinforced wood. Now it's its own tier of beeswax wood. Six existing pieces unaffected. We've talked about this before. I also like, so they changed a few weeks ago. They changed like the reinforced glass. We had the new reinforced glass, right?
Hmm.
It did not have any doors and windows, so they still were like the old normal, albeit slightly buffed doors and windows, but they did look different. Now there are reinforced glass variants of those as well. Nice. And the reinforced glass is way clearer than the old glass, although the old glass windows themselves were relatively clear as well. But I'm definitely gonna have to check these reinforced glass doors and windows out and see how they look.
Yeah.
Now the other big one obviously is the static health bar for the world bosses. Division stats increase, so the boss HP bar is persistent from a longer distance, like nearly the whole area. So you don't have to stand right on top of the boss to see its health bar. And blueprint, reinforced wood. The name has been updated to the Beeswax set. Then fixes. Fixed field guide not showing durabilities or spoil times. Never noticed they were missing, but then again, never looked at it proper either. So, fix a typo in guano description. Well, those badness are still quite rare. Although, truth be told, I don't spend a whole lot of time in Arctic zones. I have not seen any bats in the ice sheet though, the null sector Arctic. Not sure whether or not, not sure whether they are gonna be present there, but yeah, usually I don't spend a whole lot of time in the Arctic because I don't have to. Adjustments to the chicken workshop item, adding air haze when spawned, and then air release when interacted with, and we're talking about the box now. Adjusting delay on chicken so it appears after opening the box. So you have proper cause and effect relation.
Hmm.
Adding appropriate deploy audio for the heavier workshop crates, like the medium and big ones. Also applying open air hiss and air release audio to all animal workshop crates. Let's see, fix some mesh clipping, flush some grass. Updated many quest snap actors to ensure proper reloading. We'll now respawn the snap actor and set it to the correct state based on mission progress. When the session is restarting the game on dedicated server. Not sure what they mean with the quest snap actors though. Is it maybe like the different items in the quest list on the left? I don't know.
Yeah, snapping might, I don't know, might be applicable to like placing an item on a device, like putting a battery into a car type of thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure what they mean here. So we'll just say thanks for the info. Watermelon plant master shader has been updated with a tint value to reduce the brightness. This will make it stand out less in the environment. So it's going to be a tad harder to find melons.
Okay.
Now the thing is, melons are a nice food for starting prospectors who are depending more on melons than a prospector who has a big base with a lot of crop plots already. So those experienced players who already have a fully built base, they don't care about this. And they grow watermelons in crop plots anyway if they need them. So uh, early players and starting players who don't have a lot of experience yet, for them it's going to be harder to find the watermelons. So I mean, I don't care about this, but I could understand someone who just starts playing is like, now I can't find my watermelons no more. Now I'm gonna die. Yeah.
Well, I don't understand why they changed it in the first place. It's not like, it was ugly or it was too easy to find or
Yeah, I
it's,
think it was too easy to find.
yeah, but I mean, it's kind of a very strange fix. Nobody complained about it, I think. So, there's other things that could maybe use their attention. But okay, sure thing. Make
True.
melon harder to see.
Yeah.
Okay,
I don't know their thought process, but
yeah.
they made it harder to see, so it was too easy to see.
All right.
Headstone mission. A fixed final step. Retrieval pod disappearing before the quest is complete. And thus locking you out of the completing the mission. I'm glad they fixed that. Fixed bug where shield would block poison and miasma damage. Now specifically only blocks melee and projectile damage. We talked about that one. Spacing on exotic cell button has been fixed. Never sell exotics anyway. I have plenty of Ren. Uh, some cave lighting fixed in second Arctic area rebuild. Last week or the week before, where they rebuilt a big part of the ice sheets in the North sector because some of the matches weren't proper. You could fall through the world, etc. Hence the rebuild. The lava hunter's health bar no longer starts visible and only appears after a delay once it has emerged. Lava hunter. Ah, that's the one from the last Prometheus storyline mission before the null sector. So you don't know anything about it yet. Interesting animal to kill, by the way. Fixed bug where bosses' health bars weren't showing the correct amount of health until they were first damaged. You think, oh, it has a health bar this big, and then you shoot an arrow at it, and all of a sudden it jumps like, this big. Oops. Yeah, better to have it fixed so less confusion for the players. Like, why is the boss gaining health when I'm shooting at it?
Could be confusing, yeah.
Fix a bug where clients could not see the current amount of armor on boss health bar. Hold on, armor?
Oh, I also don't understand that one because, as far as I know, no bosses have armor, or you have to strip off in order to do damage. I just have a health bar, and then you hit it with a stick or a knife or an arrow until it dies, or you
Yeah.
put a shotgun to its face.
Well, you
So,
said we had to implement this health bar for some upcoming content. I reckon, I
maybe.
reckon this armor is part of
Yeah,
the upcoming content.
that makes sense though, because a lot of games have like armor that you have to strip off using corrosive damage or something similar, which is a small boss mechanic or
Hmm.
even a mechanic to certain animals. Which does, make certain sense, especially considering, scorpions and such thing have exoskeletons, yada yada.
Hmm.
So yeah, it could be a new thing. So go for it. And then there, that also would make sense because then like a crossbow which has armor piercing would, be more practical than, a shotgun, for example, because a shotgun is overpowered. But yeah,
Or
take a shotgun.
at least until the armor has been destroyed. But yes.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, because it's more flesh damage
Yeah.
than actual armor damage. Because you don't use buckshot to pierce armor. You use buckshot to blow something's head off.
Yeah.
So, it's two different points. So, yeah, using a rifle, oh, yeah, that's armor piercing. That's going to do a lot of damage. So
Well,
yeah,
at least
yeah.
it will go through the armor and not being
I
like
yeah,
deflected
well,
by
like
the
I said,
armor.
if
Yeah,
or does a ton of damage against the armor. So I
yeah,
definitely like that chain of thought. I definitely, think that's a great path to walk down.
yep,
So that's actually, something that I'm looking forward to now, certainly.
yeah. Me too. Related to that, fix a bug where the armor bar on the boss health, which it wasn't being hidden if the boss didn't have any armor. Again, I reckon is for this
Yeah,
upcoming
yeah, yeah.
content. Fix in-world creature deterrent, text being untranslatable. So now it is translatable, so it can be displayed in different languages as well. Especially nice for the non-English players. Fix map selection translation for requires text. More translation strings. Composition mission. The Bravo objective now correctly respawns on reload. That's one of the reasons why I try to finish a mission in the same session as where I started, just to avoid these kind of things. But I'm glad I fixed it, because otherwise you will be locking people out of that mission. Usually it isn't a problem. Uh, Definitely not on Olympus, because there's multiple routes through the mission tree. Styx is more of a star-based mission tree, so if you cannot complete a mission, you will be locking out the missions behind it. Although abandoning the mission in general would fix this. Abandon and restart. Not counting the problems I had earlier this week, for example, where mission item did not get cleaned up correctly, so I had to reload from backup from before I started that mission, basically thrown away like 4 or 5 hours of gameplay. Second time that happened to me. Uh, that's really annoying on an open world, because again, you can run an operation only once, complete it, and then you can't do it anymore. Now, if you abandon it and it does not clean up the mission object, and you restart the operation again, and the mission object is still there, yeah, tough luck, mate. You cannot complete this mission. Especially annoying if it's, for example, I had this with the Prometheus storyline missions. It would have locked me out from completing the storyline, thus for opening up the null sector in that open world. So luckily I still had a prospect backup file from before I started that mission. The one this week was just a side mission, so it shouldn't have been that much of an issue, but still very annoying, because I want to have all the missions ticked off. But there was a different issue here. At least you could like abandon the mission and restart it again, and then the Bravo objective would then pop up. Just don't end the session before it pops up. Let's see. Fix slottable inventory containers list as shown on oxidizers, purifiers, and a scanning bench. Now correctly updates to show the type of item required. Like the oxide dissolver, where you can put a sulfur in the oxide slots.
Yeah, I have no idea what this is because
Uh,
realistically, you just open it and you click the item and then it pops into the slot and then that's end of discussion. As far as I know, you don't have to drag it in, so it might be an icon-based thing, but yeah,
or if you hover over it and it shows you like, hey, this you can use here. For
like I
example,
said,
if you
I
hover
don't.
over the fuel slot in the oxide dissolver, it'll show you like, hey, you need to put sulfur in here.
I
Maybe
don't know.
something like that.
I don't know. That's fine.
Yeah.
It was fine. It worked fine. Nobody touched it, so I believe how they fixed something that wasn't broken or who broke it
Well,
is just, yeah, I don't know.
something can be broken with a very easy workaround. It still would need to fix.
Yeah, but this is a very specific thing. It's an actual mapping of an image. That's, or I'm assuming something. Like I said, I did do that sort of weird container-based fix for the like magazines and stuff. But even then, it's like somebody's messing up things. Which yet again, it's fixed though, so no
Nah,
point complaining about it. But it's fixed. It's fixed.
I
Don't worry
think
about it.
this
Don't worry about
might be the pop-up text, but
it.
okay.
That's fine. That's fine.
Added workshop animal cryo cage icons in the deployable setup table. Oh, thanks. We get proper icons now. Remove the 60-second network connection timeout that auto kicks plays from a server if they don't join in time. This, by the way, can be added back by adding the specific string B connection timeout enabled is true under the online subsystem Icarus heading in the engine.ini. Not sure why would. Well, one could say if there is no such connection timeout no more, then people could like end up in limbo where it's like indefinitely connecting.
There's actually your host maybe trying to negotiate things. So if you queued up a whole bunch of people, it's a DDoS type of thing where it would just sort of spam your server and probably lag it out possibly. So
Yeah.
just setting it, that it kicks off and forgets about any people that have not connected after a 30-second
Yeah.
timeout
60
rather than,
seconds. Yeah.
hey, are you still there? Hey, are you still there? Times that by 100,000 would obviously be, as things queue up in the back end. But I don't know what the reason was for this.
To try, I think this is like part of the whole solution for
Yeah,
a long prospect loading time, and then a client is being kicked back to the main menu because of this long loading time, I reckon.
yeah, true. Just increase the timeout. That's just it, right? That's the fix. So, or it's probably a workaround. So, yeah,
Well, this is
that's
only
fine.
one of the steps we have seen above in the patch notes themselves. Two other fixes they did, like the array copying
Mm-hmm.
stuff and etc. But radar field guide set has been added and updated the description to mention exotic scanning. Resource on the map and arc is an approximate direction. I do still see sometimes people asking like, "Hey, how do I have to interpret my scan results?" So yeah. Added tooltips to the map buttons to explain scanning more. Again, people, hey, how do I have to interpret the scan results? So good. Here's another one where remove the 180-second timeout, send players back to the main menu if it took too long to load. One of the other steps they did to avoid players being kicked back if the prospect loading took too long. But yeah, we've talked about those already.
Yep.
Then future content, our favorite part of the patch notes.
Yay.
Open for
Now I can
speculations
actually.
and such.
Yeah, well, now I can pay attention. So,
Adding
talking
Milken
about
and
fixes.
Wheatsack proxy assets. Oh, I'm gonna get a dedicated Wheatsack? Well,
And milk can for cows and cattle and stuff like that makes sense as well.
if
So,
you
and
harvest wheat,
yeah.
wheat fields, you get a lot of wheat from it. And it
Wasn't that
fills up
the
your
this?
inventory very
Oh, it was
quickly.
the seed pouch. Yeah. No, we talked about this as well because when they introduced the seed pouches or the new seed, the harvesting one, the one that did stuff, the
Hmm.
second one that were introduced, that was like, oh yeah, for wheat and stuff, that would be awesome. But
Yeah.
I can't recall if that was the one that accepted wheat or not. But
No. There is
creating
no
unique.
such thing yet.
No, there was not the wheat one, the one that they introduced for the farming. That was like for the farming one. There was the
Yeah, the
seed pouch thing, and then there
farmer's
was for the
satchel, which is
yeah,
basically
that
the successor of the seed pouch,
yes,
which holds
and
more
that can't.
seeds,
Oh,
but
it was
it
only seeds.
does not
Okay,
hold any wheat.
got it. So yeah, technically that this is something that you would actually want.
And at that point, we were already discussing this, like wheat. Hey,
Mm,
you take one swipe with your sickle, you have like 200 wheat. A bit exaggerated, but you
No, but you
collect
fill
wheat
up your
very,
inventory
very
when you
quickly.
go
Yeah.
to Dutch. Exactly,
So,
and you make a little output of it because you have to
uh,
crush tons of it to make flat bread. So
uh,
it's just a normal situation that we're used to. So then bring in a specific wheat, pouch, which would be useful.
yeah.
Let's see.
Felling attachment feature locked, because from the field guide, not released
Yeah.
yet. Will be reassessed for future release. Okay.
Mm, yeah. I'm just looking for like items or interesting things.
There is more on
Yeah.
the whole
No.
breeding of animals though.
Mm,
Oh, adding
okay.
level boost to 30 for Elysium. And new account flag to keep track of data. Now if you start with a new player in Prometheus, maybe Styx already, or only it starts at Prometheus, you get the option to boost your player level to level, what is it, 10 or 20? So at least you can like unlock important blueprints even when you're technically still level 0.
Mm,
Apparently
like
for Elysium, they're gonna increase
mm-hmm,
the level boost to 30. Now Elysium is gonna be the codename of a future DLC.
mm-hmm.
And the level boost is gonna be up to 30, which kinda tells you how hard Elysium is gonna be. I'm definitely gonna start Elysium with a level 0 character, with nothing.
Well, you can't because it'll boost to 30.
No, that's optional. You can choose
Oh,
to do it, and you can only do it once on a character.
okay, cool. But yeah, starting out with 0 will be more challenging. That sounds fun. I'll go for
Exactly,
that.
exactly.
But I'm interested in 3 lines down from that because they talk about obviously the whole animal breeding component with
5
cows
lines
and
down, yeah.
cattle and yeah, the one that was basically after that. So it was
So,
basically
when attempted fertilization occurs, cows now become hopeful. Hopeful cows' movement speed is reduced, water and food consumption is increased. If they are over 65% in food and water periodically, if they are over 65% of food and water, they will periodically try to escalate to pregnant,
pregnant. Yeah. Mm.
with a 25% chance of reaching pregnant state. If they become pregnant, the cow will sit down or lie down and need to be hand fed and watered. And
That's a bit.
then at some point prospectors can then interact with the cow to help them give birth to calves. Uh,
Oh, that's
n-
one. I mean, the hand-fed thing is a little bit over the top because cattle usually don't need that much,
yeah,
micromanaging, quote unquote.
true,
So
true, but at least like you have to put in a bit more, let's say, put in a bit more of an effort, and be a bit
yeah,
more
no, no.
hands-on, literally here.
Yep, it might be cool. It
Be
also
a bit more
depends on
engaged.
exactly.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for.
True, it makes sense, but it also depends on how difficult it is to just obtain the cattle. Because if it's just easy, if they're just roaming around in droves and you can go hunt them, then they'd
Now,
be a little pointless.
this is either going to be a wild animal you can tame, or, and I think that is going to be the case, get them from the workshop. Now, the same with the chicken. You can get the chickens from the workshop. If you want to eat chicken, you have to kill the chicken, and then you have to buy a new one from the workshop. If you can breed chicken, you buy a couple of chickens from the workshop to start with, and then you start breeding chickens, and then you can kill them and eat them without having to rebuy from workshop. I reckon it's going to be the same with the cows. Now, if you want to breed cows, you definitely have to make sure they have enough food and water. So make sure you hook up a water trough to your water network. I would say put a tier 4 electric food trough down there because it automatically crafts OmniFood. OmniFood has a way longer spoil time, so you just throw in a couple hundred tomatoes, for example. It turns into OmniFood and stays good. It doesn't spoil for a long time, so your animals will have enough food. No, it's over 65% food and wood, 65% in food and water, so they have enough to eat and to drink. Periodically, they will try to escalate or escalate to pregnant.
Hmm.
Not sure what the time period will be though. And this attempt is 25% chance to succeed.
Hmm.
And then you
Yeah,
have to regularly check your cows like, hey, it's lying on the ground. Apparently I have to regularly go
feeding
there and
water.
give it food and
Yep.
water. What will happen
Yep.
if you don't do it?
Probably if fails and aborts and the cow just goes back, we're gonna carry on. But we'll see
Maybe.
about that. It's
Or is
just
the cow gonna die because dying of
well,
starvation or
yeah.
dehydration?
But yeah, like I said, that's fine. That's like I said, that's the interesting part. It was mostly just cattle and breeding stuff. The
Yeah.
mechanics will probably change by the next one. So
Well,
it's an interesting thing. We'll see how it
this
works.
breeding
But
mechanic was last week in Patchnotes already as well. Remember?
nope, can't recall at all.
Bull,
But
cow, calf,
yeah,
and
that was
the
mentioned,
ram,
but not the
sheep,
mechanics.
and
Yeah, but it
rooster and
wasn't
chicken.
mentioned. It mentioned that they were introducing it, but
Yeah,
there was no, mechanic being introduced. This is discussing the mechanic. So
exactly.
yeah. But
Also,
anyway,
no trait inheritance yet.
yeah. So I presume that there would be traits of the animals, which would, for example, Pal World or other games which have, creatures which you sort of blend together, which is usual like breeding
Uh,
simulators. It's
like
like you've
breeding
got
an
like
ark.
no, no, yeah, possibly. I don't recall
Yeah,
it in the arc, but it's basically the one has a trait which is like armored level 3 or,
yeah,
speed level 9 or who knows what, and that's a trait that you want to have.
yeah.
So you would want to sort of, have certain traits of certain animals to sort of, make stronger variation of heritage kind of stuff. So that makes sense. It might be something that they're working on, so it's interesting.
Now, here's something I also wonder. Will this also be for like their talents? Like if you add talents for
Doubt it.
they take less damage or they produce more milk or something like that, will cows be able to pass those talents in a form of trait, pass them on to their calves?
No, I think a trait is a trait and a talent is a talent.
Uh,
So it'll have its own talents by normal mechanics that you do get from leveling them up, and those would either exist or not exist, which is a completely separate system or mechanic introduced with animals.
it should,
The
because
traits
otherwise
are,
you could like make like
yeah,
level up a specific
no, no,
talent and then a calf and then
that exactly,
against
no.
on the
So that's
talent you create like a cow which gives like 5,000 liters milk a
no,
day.
that's
Yeah. So,
not going to happen. So in this case, it's just a unique trait that has a small percentage of chance of possibly even being leveled that is introduced into an animal at either a rare chance by capture or, in this case, breeding, which they might introduce later.
uh,
So therefore, it's a good system, but will
uh,
be introduced possibly or maybe not. We'll see.
something to keep in
So,
mind: if the cow is hopeful or
mm,
pregnant,
then
they will
produce
no
more.
longer produce milk. Just
Yeah. So it will say, yeah,
so
definitely.
yes, you
And
get
obviously, it mentioned
more
again.
cows, but you don't get no milk during the time period.
Yeah.
So
So yet again, they'll lie down when they're pregnant. Just discussing the previous topic point. This is for future content. We're just sort of, going through
also,
to see
will
what's.
cows become
Mhm.
hopeful if there is no bull present?
No, it says whilst attempting fertilization. So I presume it would need to. It's like a thing.
Yeah.
They would need to.
So
You can't have the one without the other. So therefore, they would need to obviously adhere to certain requirements. It's something as a beehive. So therefore, it's like that's there, that's there, that's there. Okay, great. They're well fed. Okay, it's 25% chance per tick, whatever the tick is. As you mentioned, we don't know what the frequency is, and then great. Oh, she's lying down. Okay, great. Just very much go feed her,
so
do whatever else, and
basically,
the
if
calf
you
is
want
born.
to get a lot of milk, keep the bull away from the cows. If you want to increase your amount of cows, bring the bull to the cows.
Yep, that's also true. That's
Oh,
definitely how farmers usually do it as
exactly.
well. So
So
it's like,
I
yeah,
like
so
that mechanism.
no, it's definitely there. So you would have like a little gate or something like that to bring them in, and then see exactly how much. And it'll be easier if you have a bunch of cows that are pregnant, so that you don't have to sort of, on occasion, going and running back and forth to one, rather than, okay, great, a ton of food, and there's like 6 pregnant cows, so you just have to deal with them, feed them, and then, or first get the male cow out, it's like, shoo, and then, once he's out, you could probably then just, take care of the females until the calves are born, and then, your life carries on. But
Okay.
looking down through the rest of the things,
Well, it's egg incubator. Set up egg
uh,
incubator and started work on upgradable chicken coop prototype. So you get a new
yeah,
chicken coop
yeah,
in which you can place an egg incubator where you can incubate fertilized eggs. I mean, you can still eat them. There's something in here as well. Here, fertilized eggs will display the fertilized alteration. They can still be cooked or used in recipes like normal eggs, or you put it in the where is it? The egg incubator to incubate it into new chicken.
yep.
Also, this was funny. Fix an issue where roosters were not tagged correctly and would try to fertilize animals other than chickens. There's
Well,
what
you never know.
the
It's
rooster's
like,
gonna
well,
try to fertilize the moa, for
yeah,
example.
you never,
Well,
yeah,
better a moa
yeah,
than a buffalo, but okay.
yeah.
Chickens now lose fertilize modifier after they lay an egg. Kind of makes sense. A fixed issue where the roosters, bulls, and rams would gain food and water when fertilizing rather than losing as intended. Yep, glad they fixed that.
Well, yet again, I'm looking for future content. This is,
Flamethrower, flamethrower, assault rifle.
yeah, there we go. There we go. That's better. Let's see that. So, well, it's like milk cans. I don't know. I didn't see the flamethrowers, but I see milk
Adding
cans.
talents and
Oh, there,
recipes
yeah,
for
yeah.
flamethrower and assault rifle.
Yeah, so there's assault rifle volumes and caved, yeah, definitely shot trails, so tracers kind of stuff. That seems pretty cool. Obviously, there's the incubator thing regarding the names, roosters, blah blah blah. So there's the Great Hunt device, which probably is going to be maybe something attached to the expansion that we're
Hold on.
mentioning.
Where is the Great Hunt device?
It's just up from the swapped mesh in for assault rifle. So just below the fixed issues where roosters and bulls rams would gain food water when fertilizing rather than losing. Swap the mesh for Great Hunt device. Great Hunt device being an item. So Great Hunt possibly being coupled to,
Okay, let's
the
let's.
expansion that we mentioned. So,
Yeah, adding item icons for Great Hunt device.
oh yeah, it says swap mesh in for Great Hunt device. That's the comment. But like I said,
That one, yeah. Great Hunt
well,
device
doesn't
and
matter. It's the
items
same
for.
repeated thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So exactly. Yeah. So it's all there. So
Uh,
flamethrower
Future
talent and
content
recipes
indeed.
for the assault rifles and flamethrowers. That's cool.
Vestiges
Blah
and
blah blah.
trophies for the rams and roosters.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Rams.
Golem
Okay, so it's
statue,
basically
trophy golem statue and trophy golem throne. Cool, cool.
yeah. I mean, that was the golem thing. Look, or sounds still pretty cool. So I wouldn't expect them to produce some
Uh,
sort of cool item from
uh,
it.
a rock golem.
Yeah, that's the thing. Does the so
Added
it probably
inhalers for the rest of the world bosses. What? Have they become asthmatic?
yeah, they have asthma. Yeah.
Updated
Uh,
inhaler time to be 30 meters. Hold on, are we mixing stuff up here? Time
no idea.
versus distance? Huh?
No idea. Assault 154, flush grasses,
Hey,
added
added clay,
audio.
obsidian, dirt, and scoria resource pack items. So
Interesting.
you will be able at some point to get them
Buy
from
them.
the
Yeah.
workshop.
Yeah, possibly.
Good, good.
Uh, added medium tank slug trophy item. Interesting.
The one above.
Tank slug. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. Like armored slug.
Yeah, tank slug. It's probably like something. It's probably maybe a specific because I mean we talked about the wolf guns and all these types of things. So it would also make sense that you maybe have specialized ammunition crafted from you know, the decay. You know, it's like
Hmm?
it's the arrows from the cave worm arrows. It's, you
Hmm.
know, unique, you know, boss ammunition that you can craft based upon from the drops. So it makes sense. They're like golem grenade
Yeah.
explosions
Alright.
and all these
Adding
things.
animation and armor setup for the Golem Gauntlet POC, including punch and idle. Needs moved into left. Needs a charge animation hookup into charge functionality. Moved into left click, so secondary attack can be added to right click.
Oh, geez, are
So
you
this
playing the golem? Oh, you know, you're riding the golem. Ooh.
the
Or
Golem
you make a
Gauntlet.
golem.
No, the Golem Gauntlet. Once again, would
Oh,
be
the
one of
gauntlet.
them.
Ah, that was the weapon. Yeah,
Yeah.
the weapon. Yeah.
So it's gonna have like two different attacks. Okay.
Yeah, makes sense.
Like punch and smash. I don't know.
Well, a heavy punch and a quick jab type of thing usually.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And the assault rifle is gonna be a tier 4 item. Added
Mm.
required sockets to tier 4 assault rifle. Adjusted amounts of birds spawned. 10 base plus 10 per player at a time. Changed ranged bat circle behavior to match other bats. So we're gonna have a bat with ranged attacks. Cool. Okay, cakes.
Yeah.
Adding chocolate, coconut and carrot cakes. Recipes and
Mm.
item setup as well as pieces. Now the cakes themselves are deployable. And
Oh yeah.
prospectors can then interact with the cake to pick up a piece. The cakes themselves cannot be consumed, but the individual pieces can. So you
Yeah.
put
But,
a cake on the table and then you grab a piece and
mhm.
eat it.
There's a couple of games like that, obviously,
Ah,
that have that same mechanic. So
that's gonna be interesting.
yeah, it's okay. It makes it so that you know it's. I'm trying to think what game it was
Uh,
that had similar things, but it's quite a few.
This
Weird,
one
like
makes me a tad sad. Prevent infinite building without stability
Sims.
checks in some caves. My crazy
Yep,
base
there's
is
some.
gonna fall down, I'm afraid.
Yeah, yeah.
I sincerely hope, but I do not expect, them making an exception for already built structures.
Well, they said in some caves. Your cave is extremely deep, so maybe they sort of keep it over there in order to people actually still make it down in one piece. I don't know. I
There
mean, you just
is
build along the edge of it, so it's not the end of the world, but
there is infinite building without stability checks in a lot of caves. But
I know. But
most of the caves aren't big enough for you to actually notice this, I reckon. But so far, although I have to admit I haven't done extensive testing, but so far I found there is no stability checks in caves, period.
yes,
And
I
I've
know
made
there's.
use of this in multiple cases. Obviously, the biggest example being Crazy Base in the big hole in the ground in the swamp in Prometheus.
Mm,
Another one is the second lava cavern in the tunnel from the first volcanic to the second volcanic biome in Prometheus, where I've
mm,
built straight over the lava pool without any supports.
yeah. And what I'm repeating the sentence is basically prevent infinite building without stability checks in some caves.
Yep.
So it's purely the indication that yes, they might retain it in certain ones, and that was my point.
I
Was just
surely hope they'll retain it in that big hole in the ground in the swamp biome. Cause I don't think I'll be able to build enough structural support to keep that one if they remove the infinite building there in that
yeah, that
cave.
was the thing. So
It's
yeah.
like 50 plus stories high.
Mm. But now it's like yeah, exactly. That was the point. It's a very deep cave. But
Yeah.
anyway, so now it's like okay, fine. So
And we get
cheese recipes.
cheese.
Yeah,
Are we
yeah.
gonna get pizza? Because now we have like dough with wheat
Yeah,
and
you
we
should.
already have dough, wheat and water and yeast. Or
You should.
maybe in a bit wheat and milk and yeast. We have tomatoes for the sauce. We have bacon to put on top of the pizza, but a pizza is no pizza without cheese. Now we're gonna get cheese. Now I want my pizza with triple
Yeah,
extra bacon on top.
we'll see. We'll see.
But yeah, a couple of interesting new things in here. A bit more explanation about the whole breeding process, I should say. This for me the one that stands out the most here in the future content, and the infinite building caves thingy, which, like I said, makes me that sad. Some more info about some of the let's say like deployables like thrones and things like trophies and such, and weaponry like the
Yeah,
bio weapons or whatever they're called. Well, not bio
yeah,
weapons. There's a negative sound, but
yeah. That's pretty cool.
there's the
But
most here in the most the things that like pop out the most in the future content.
yeah,
Fixes, the biggest one I think is going to be the loading times for the prospect. And like fixes a couple of missions, but for me
yeah,
personally, the loading times and a new building material, beeswax wood. So yeah,
yeah. Sounds good. So you're gonna do your gameplay,
yeah,
and
these
then
were the
I
patch
can't join.
notes. Indeed, I'm gonna take a quick break and do some gameplay afterwards. You can't join, you said, unfortunately.
Yep, updates too long, slow connection. So yep, not ready by now. So I'll
So
probably join on the next session.
yeah, make sure update is completed by Monday night so you can join in with a co-op session again. And we finally
Yep,
be with 3 players again for the first time since I don't know how long. So yeah.
indeed, indeed.
Uh, anyway, I'm gonna do my stream outro and then I'll come back to you on Discord.
Perfect. See you in a bit. Have a good one.
So yeah, these were the patch notes. Uh, we do this every Friday night at 21:30 British Summer Time. Uh, with Echo and or Carl, whoever is available. We go through the patch notes, so you don't have to read them yourself if you don't want to. We talk about it. Have we seen it? What kind of issues are they talking about? Do we know? Can we explain? And also our favorite part, speculating in the future content. But yeah, I'm gonna take a 10-15 minute break and then I will be back with some gameplay, which is gonna be in a new stream. Uh, so yeah, thanks for being here. I really appreciate it. I hope you found this useful slash informative slash interesting, etc. And yeah, I hope I'll see you around in a bit for the gameplay.